Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Sunday Night Hang right here on Sundays at night, hanging on YouTube. I'm Ben. This is my awesome guest from the left coast, Hipmetalworx, and we're hanging tonight talking gear, talking music, talking probably about everything because that's how these shows go. And did the short intro tonight because we technical issues, folks. Yeah, I blame Symmetry, and he's like, "Don't blame me," and then he's trying to call to be a friend, and yeah, so that's how that's going so far. So, welcome, my friend. Or should I say, welcome back? Had such a good time on the million.
Nice to be back.
The million view hang. I'm like, let's do this one-on-one even. And you said, why? I said, why not? And again, why? And so we said, sure. And here we are. And we've already got 29 people in the chat. I thought it said 40 a minute ago. So I think a bunch of people came, oh, it's that Ben guy. Fuck that. Oops, can I say that? Sure, I just did. We've got Terry Himes, Charles 75N, Gretch Zeppelin, Terry's 3Gs, Octopus Ears, Jimmy Ray Hawkins actually made it live. Awesome. I wish I could get Aldenova for a show, Jimmy Ray. I wish I could. We got BC Rich 581, Ian's Guitar Shack, Thomas Santiago, Troublemaker himself, Symmetry. My knees hurt. Got a new video out. Oh, video burps already. Perfect. Gear Junkie 35's here. Janice is here. Papa Blue. Lawrence Cash. Some guy named Hipmetalworx. Don't know who that is. Nope, not Blue.
Nope.
Guitar Man 45. Mark Effects. Dave the Pious. Who else? John DeShane. All right, the whole West Coast contingent. New Guitar Day for Randy Crooks. Perfect. He says he's going to show it off tomorrow, so I won't say what it is tonight. House of Twang. Mr. Fabric Top himself, Charles 75N. Don't even start with him, folks. He's pulled hair out in the last week. He found a finish flaw. He was about ready to box it up, Hipmetalworx, that body. He was about ready to box it all up, and then he found a flaw, and next thing you know, he's got it right down to the wood again. So,
hate it when that happens.
Yeah, me too. Jason Lindholm's here. Awesome. Martin Lemaire. Paul McNary. Billy Baloney. Paulie Walnuts. Sandra Porkany. What's up, Sandra? Absolute Mayhem. Music Therapy Laz is lurking while watching movies. Sure. Happy birthday to Halenville himself. Fruitcake Tony's in the chat. And early. Wow. JP Page 2. Scrolling down to the bottom now. Because new people like iRock Zed Blues. Yep. Awesome. All Dave, all night. Blackjack Guitar. Six String Brian. That's a good deal, Octopus here. 21 grams at a club for $20. Yep. Used to pay that for 25 years ago. Hello, Susan. Welcome.
I see a lot of familiar names in here.
Yeah.
Right
Dan of New Jersey. Other left, Jeff K. Just make sure I didn't miss anybody. And if I did miss you, say hello again if you don't mind. I don't know. Oh, boy. Yeah. Awesome. Let's see here. Yeah, saturated market all day, all night. Exactly. Considering last time I was out there last week, they have ounces for $25 these days. Who'd have thunk it? It's insane. T. Ricky. Charles Green. Nice. So we're hanging out. We're going to talk music. I'm going to get a little fried. Thank you for the compliments on the shirt. Yeah, it's not a rip-off though.
Ooh, what a tune. Hate it when that happens.
It sounded good for a sec, then it went underwater because, hashtag StreamYard.
Okay, I kind of was starting to wonder if it was my end or not. Because I noticed the same thing when I was doing a couple of tests. It started off okay, and then just...
Yeah, that's usually a headroom issue. Somebody who asked? Somebody iRock asked, so what's the guitar you got there?
What's the guitar you got? Well, let me tell you. 1976 limited edition reissue Gibson Explorer.
Nice.
They made 19 of these puppies in the 50s. And when they started up in 76, 77, and 78, they made, I think, another 400, I do believe. Some of those which were limited edition reissues, like this one. It's a beast of a guitar. It weighs a ton. Sustain. Smoke a Les Paul. I mean, it just goes.
Oh, yeah.
It just goes.
Well, it's got the tone horn. It's got the tone horn sticking out. That's why. All that added sustain.
It's killer. It's not all, unfortunately, it's not all original. I've had this puppy about 30 years, and when I bought it, it was fairly beat up. It has Gatto machine heads on it that were on it when I bought it, and I've had it 3 decades.
Do they work?
Oh, yeah.
Then fuck it, right?
Yep. It does not go out of tune. I put new strings on, stretch them in 3 times, tune them up. It stays in tune. It does not go out of tune. I never had a problem at clubs or gigs with lots of lights or cool or much tuned.
Oh, yeah, that you mentioned right. That's gigging in Canada. If you play in a club in Canada and you're on stage anywhere near an exit, and you play between November and March, if someone cracks that door open, your guitar can and will go out of tune like that.
Yep. Well, I've seen that happen in bunches. That happens to my Kelly sometimes. I'll show you that one in a bit, but this is what everybody comes for. I mean, this is the closest thing you're going to get to a 57.
BC Rich is like, that's the only one the Edge hasn't bought. Yep.
Pretty much, yeah. And these are a huge neck. I mean, it's the size of Texas.
Somebody was asking, said the neck looked big.
It's huge. It's a baseball bat.
What's up,
Lauren? I mean, it's not quite classical big, but man, it's huge. I love it.
Not a lot of taper is what we're saying from one end of the neck to the other.
Nope.
What's wrong with that?
I'm not too sure what the radius is. So I'm going to say, maybe
I think they're 12. I think.
Yeah, maybe a 12, maybe a 14, something like that. But it's sweet. It plays effortlessly. I mean, you pick it up and it plays itself. Totally.
Jason Lindholm says, I have a friend who has a 76 Les Paul. It's a freaking brick. It's heavy. My first electric guitar was a 72 Les Paul Deluxe. So, yep, I understand. That's why I no longer owned it, because I could only play it for 2 songs, because I weighed 115 pounds.
That's like me. You know, I ain't that much more. I'm a skinny old dude.
Yep. Then I got a Strat and I went, okay. And people say, we have the Strat so much thinner sound. The Les Paul was a deluxe. I had the mini hums. They weren't thick sounding to begin with. What was that just fell on the floor? All right.
Well,
random item. That's fine. New York City pizzas. Yeah, NYC pizza. Right. How many years on that vape? I think I've been vaping for 7 years. I was debating giving it up, but I don't know. Kind of like nicotine. But yeah, been vaping for, I think, 7 years now. I think.
And John is saying these are 10 to 46s. I've tried 9 to 42s, but it's spaghetti. Even 10s are a little thin, like in standard tuning.
Sure. I get it. And especially, it's weird how I find necks with bigger guitars, it's almost like 9s feel smaller, like they feel like 8s, just because the neck's bigger. I don't know why, but it happens. I don't understand why. Michael Kress says his first electric was a 78 Les Paul, and the amp was a Fender Pro Reverb. I'm amazed the bedroom floor didn't collapse. In chiropractic care by age 20.
Yeah, I can relate to that. This is a heavy beast. You feel it after a night.
That's right, Ian. Ian says, play Skunk Baxter style. Sit and lean. Yep. Love to sit when I gigged. It's one of the reasons we used to do one song a set where I'd play an acoustic, and it was worth hauling an extra guitar and setting up an acoustic into the PA system just so I could sit down for one song each set. Why don't you put a strap on it? Nah, I'll sit on a bar stool. I'll be that guy that sits on the bar stool on stage playing the acoustic while the rest of the band does their thing.
Right on.
I enjoyed it.
Excellent, excellent. So I hear you guys are getting some good weather out there today?
Yeah. We hit 15.
No
Yesterday was 1. So yeah. But then tomorrow's back to 1. But it's been very windy and warm, and that's just kind of wicked away all the snow. The ice is pretty much gone. What's up, Doug?
Perfect.
Doug in the chat. So yeah, I'm quite happy about that. Although I'm seeing predictions of snow next weekend. But somebody I was in a chat yesterday morning. Somebody had mentioned, hey, so you can put snow shovel away. I'm like, no, I live in Ontario. It doesn't go away until April.
Yeah, and even then it's kind of 50-50. Yeah,
I remember so many times. It was so weird. March break being, depending on if it was the second week or the third week. What's up, Michael Nielsen? Good to see you, my friend. Love your stuff. Got distracted. Yes, it would be literally on the Monday of March break. You'd still be sledding. You'd have the GT out, snow racer for Monday, maybe into Tuesday. But inevitably by Thursday, Friday, you were getting your bike out. You're still wearing a winter coat, riding your bike around. You had that big racer stripe of mud up the ass of your butt. Mm-hmm. Everyone took the fenders off in the 80s because, hey, I want to have a BMX, but I can't afford one. So I'll just take the fenders off my banana bike. Be good to go.
Right on. Yeah, I see Michael Nielsen in the room there. Cheers, my man. Love your stuff. Awesome channel.
Yes. I was lurking on his stuff the other night, I believe. Did Michael not have Johnny Highland on the other night? Was it him that had Johnny Highland on? No. Was it? No. Hey, what's up, RJ? Meanwhile, RJ bragging yesterday how 78 in Nashville. Looking at snow.
Why I oughta.
I know. But yes, good to see lots of cool folks hanging out.
For sure, good to see you. How you doing, Terry's 3Gs? Dick Zeppelin, good to see you. A bunch of BC boys in the room.
Benjamin from New Zealand. Good to see you, my friend.
And a Kiwi. Cool.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm allowed to say that if all things go well, LPD may have a new product out the third week of March. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that due to confidentiality. But I remember him putting in the Know Your Gear chat the other day. He's like, yeah, I'm trying to get something out end of March, so I'm plugging it. There's something coming. Stay tuned, folks. That's all I'm saying. Although, I tried to go for the inside knowledge. I said, hey, can you tell me what this is? Because I want one. Can I have... Dang it! I got my Michaels wrong. Thank you, Jimmy Ray. I knew a Michael had Johnny Highland on recently. That's me. I'm dumb on occasion. So anyway, yes, Lawrence may have something coming out. And snow's melting. Other than that, yeah, Hip's got an awesome Explorer and apparently a Tele, so he's covered all the bases.
Kelly.
Actually, let's be honest. To record a hell of a lot of genres of music, an Explorer and a Tele could cover all the guitar parts on an album, unless you need a wiggle stick. Unless you require a wiggle stick.
Mine's got a wiggle stick. I'll show you that. I see Randy Crooks is asking about the guitar again. 76 limited edition reissue Explorer. Thing is sweet. I've owned this 3 decades. It's either going to get buried or left to my daughter. It'll get buried with me or left to my daughter. One of the two. Not for sale. Never, 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 never.
Family heirloom.
Yep.
I think that's what we already decided with the 67. Like, I can never sell my dad's telly because at this point it'll go to Sam. She's shown enough of infatuation with music that even if it was just a wall hanger, that's fine with me. Because then she has her grandfather's telly on the wall. Jimmy Ray's asking, what are you playing through these days?
You're going to be disappointed by the answer. I've put it to you this way. I've had a few cool amps over the years. One of the first ones I started off was a PB Classic 212, the old one.
Familiar with those?
Yep. I think the one with the phaser built in. I might be wrong.
Okay.
I might be wrong. Started with one of those. Then I wound up getting a Fender Concert after a little while, which is okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was walking into the guitar store. One of the guys I was talking to had a Ampeg V7 half stack for sale, 4x12 with Celestion G65s in it. Ooh. And the dude's a country player. I mean, he shreds country. Excellent player. And what are you doing with this amp? Like, dude, you're a country player. Like, I figured I'd try something rocky and, no, but it's like it's heavy metal. It kind of makes the Marshall look clean.
Sure.
It's super loud. 100 watt 412 all tube, 6550s and 12x7s. I had that for a number of years till it just went, poof. It just blew it up.
As they can.
Yeah. Next amp was a Fenders Super Twin.
Ooh.
212s, 180 watts. What a killer combo. And freaking loud. If you want a pedal amp, loud, clean, dude, a Super Twin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it filled the room like my 4x12 Ampeg did.
Right.
The 2x12. And 3 or 4 pedals in front, and I mean, you're off the races.
Hey, Dave. Co-host Guitar Town Hall, Dave Nesdahl. Or the host, I'm the co-host. He does the driving. I'm on the drinker side of the screen on that show.
And for what I'm playing through now, after I wound up losing the Super Twin, I didn't have an amp for a while. So when it came time, I figured, well, hell, I'm a little dude. I love a 4x12. I don't want to carry it around.
Ain't that the truth?
The only problem with the 4x12, really.
Yep.
So I wound up buying a little Blackstar ID30 TVP, little cheapy, crappy modeling amp.
Yeah.
I played it in jam rooms with guys at 4x12 100 watt Marshalls.
Sure.
And this thing is plenty loud, and the biggest thing, it cuts. It cuts right through. You can pick it yourself. Bing.
Right.
It's not like a couple of 2x12s or 4x12s where you get lost in the wash. Everybody
you hear everybody but yourself. Everybody but yourself. And everybody else hears you and not themselves because you're projecting 20 feet in front of you.
Yep.
I hear you.
Yeah, right.
Dave. I think. Yeah, Doug. I'm always on the drinker side. Yeah, I know. Tell me quit drinking. Dave was asking about your Explorer as well. 76, you said?
76.
76 reissue. Well, made in 76 reissue of an OG. You got to explain it because nowadays it could be a reissue of a 76, right?
I've actually played. I played one of those in Long McQuaid there a couple of years ago. A 76 reissue Explorer. Nothing like this at all.
Nothing like it.
Half the weight, half the diameter, super thin, relatively thin neck, far narrower neck. But this is a made in 1976 limited edition reissue Explorer. So the most of these that there are on the planet are 400, to my knowledge. And they're not even sure how many of the first one of 400 were stamped limited edition reissue. 00 serial number. It's a stellar axe. Looks like hell. Plays awesome.
What's up, Eddie? Smooth my ass. Stream. Big smooth. Nope. Grab me right by the lungs. That's not smooth. That's false advertising for a stream. I don't know who named that, but they have lungs of steel. Whew. Excuse me.
Yeah, so I figured there would be a lot of questions about this.
Mm-hmm.
So came quick.
Jimmy Racer, yeah, got the mid-range, pushed through the mix, voiced right. Yep. So a lot of those are, which is always nice. It's where, some of those modeling practice, I'm old enough, I still use the term practice amp, because as far as I'm concerned, it's a practice amp in many ways, but as opposed to a stage amp, it's one or the other, right? Some of them, they're clearly designed for you to noodle in your bedroom or where your jam space by yourself, and you're going to sound like $1 million at whisper volume.
Yeah.
If that right? Or the illusion of that $1 million sound at whisper volume. And then there's other ones that are like, no, here, it's a jack of all trades that you can keep up with a drum kit, and you don't have to lug a bunch of gear because you're lazy and you'd rather bring a cool guitar than lug a bunch of gear. Something, and that's what that is. And they both have a place. I'm just saying I'd like one that does both if given the option, which you do. Dave asked, how long have you owned that guitar again? I forgot. About 30 years?
I've had this few decades plus.
Nice. All right, Octopus ears next time.
And I won't tell you how little I bought it for.
Oh, let me think. Okay. Late 80s, early 90s period.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in the country did you get it?
Barrie.
In Barrie?
Barrie. I've spent about 3-4 decades in Barrie.
Oh, okay.
My old man was in the forces. So my forces brought.
Well, that makes sense. Okay. All right. I'm going to say if you got it, well, the 10, and those were that, $800?
Less than that. You're pretty close, though. I got it for $6.
Damn, you got a deal then. Yeah. Because I was thinking, okay.
I found my Super Twin at a different store in Barrie, also for $600 about 10 years later. Early 2000, I guess.
I was going to, Dave says, show you a photo of his stable. I was going to say, you've tuned in on Thursday nights. You've seen Dave's stable.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I caught Paige's store there.
Yeah, that was great.
Thursday. That was excellent.
Man, she knows her stuff. Like, holy crap. I said to her off air, I said, like, no offense, but, like, it's not a gender thing that I'm pissed off that it's your age. How do you know this much at this age? And, like, even growing up, you obviously have absorbed a lot over, you don't seem like she was ever aloof about the business, per se. And I get it, having grown up around music, I get it. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing another show with her and Dave. $600 because I was thinking around, like, when I got into playing 88, 89, you could find 70s Les Pauls, which were either black or gold tops 99% of the time, with more than adequate amount of buckle rash, because apparently everybody that played them was a junior rodeo champ, so they all had the belt buckles. So
naturally.
Yeah, and and they were $500-$600, but fuck, for every 50 Les Pauls there was one Explorer type thing. You just didn't see them. Well, it's even now. You go to a music store, there's going to be 10 fucking Les Pauls and 2 Explorers at the end of the rack, type thing. That's just the way it is. And it's going to be a black Explorer and a natural, if you're lucky. If you're lucky. That's if you have the good long McQuaid area in Canada.
True enough. True enough. This thing has been a total beast. It's my second kid. I have one daughter. She might even be watching. I haven't seen her in the chat yet, but you know, this guitar means that much to me.
I get it. Barrie's always been a good market for used gear.
Mm-hmm. Like when I was back there, it was a pretty good hotbed for even musical talent.
Yeah. Oh, what was the bar in the 80s? Big fucking bar. 2 floors.
Well, the
Anyone
Rocks.
used to play there. Yep.
Yeah, I played there. I got a chance to jam in there right between they did the conversion between the movie theater and the Rocks with my Ampeg half stack, and it just filled the place. It was glorious.
No doubt.
Cranked.
I wonder if that building's still around.
I do believe it is.
Because that's like there's rooms that hold 200 people, or you got to play fucking hockey arena. You're like, there's no in between anymore. We need those 1,000-ish seat clubs where you don't go broke in that venue if only 600 people show up. You make good money if 1,000 people show up. You make really good money if you pack it at the 1,300 or so it would hold.
Yeah, could use a lot of places like that.
Yeah.
One of the places I wanted to play was the Key to Mala.
Oh yeah,
never got to play there.
It's interesting that that place, like, now people play there, but it's like you look and it's like, oh, Ron Sexsmith is playing. Well, fuck, of course he is. Like, who the fuck goes to see a Ron Sexsmith show, first of all? But he plays fucking, like, he'll be playing Massey Hall or a fucking winery. And it doesn't matter, and you're like, all right. Sorry, never got into the guy. Can't stand it. All right, here's Dave's custom destroyer. No, I can't. No, because he'll do that. Right. Come on. I just love the green on this thing.
Oh yeah, right on.
Focuses. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, quite the green in it, eh?
Yeah, it is. And I think that was a Donnie Ward creation, who, ironically enough, is coming on this Thursday on Guitar Town Hall. He and Chris Locke are returning. We're going to be talking all about custom guitars. Oh, yep. Last week was vintage. This week, custom builds. Who knows what next week is? Japanese imports. Probably not. I don't know. You never know. Tune into Guitar Town Hall. I'm there. You should be. Be cool if you would.
Yeah, be there, be square.
Yep. Jason Lindholm says, all my guitars I have now haven't paid more than $500 each for. No, can't say that. I started going down the road as soon as I hit my Strat. I'm like, no, I paid $600 for my Strat, and I paid that in 1991 for it. Or 90. 90? Yeah, I think 90. I think it was only a year old. No problem, Dave. My knees hurt. He says, I think I'm buying 2 V-style guitars soon. Please stop me. Can't.
I have a friend who's just starting to get into Bs as well, a drummer. but he's got a half a dozen Bs for some reason.
Hey, if you find a good deal on something, the worst thing is if you don't bond with it, you can get out from under it for what you have into it.
Yes.
Especially with the way the market is, that it keeps getting crazy. I don't understand what's going on. I made the mistake of browsing Kijiji today, and it's just ridiculous. People either want a lot of money, or the stuff that was priced is gone. It's just gone immediately. Or if it's cool, yeah. Oh, all right. So Dave's going to have a Murphy Lab TV Yellow Les Paul special for this week's show. Thanks, Dave. So I have to do the show with Boner. Great. Thanks. Great. What's up, Brad Guitar Miller, my friend? What chat were we in today talking about venues? Was that in Pete Thorne's chat?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all.
The Viper Room, the Whiskey.
Yeah, apparently it looked like the Viper Room's closing. Which is funny because when that came up, I was literally like, I have one eye on the chat and I'm scrolling through Instagram and I saw a Nikki Sixx post that people were talking about, but I didn't read it. And, oh, it's Nikki taking photos in front of places again, whatever. And then they're like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm trying to think. That building, though, I think had a long history. Like Pete was saying, oh, yeah, the Viper. Like, I remember when the Viper Room opened because it was in the tabloids and stuff like that. But that building had been a club, restaurant, bar, whatever for a long time. I can't remember how far back it goes, but a long time. It's too bad.
Well, a few places in Toronto I remember. The Gasworks, Rock and Roll Heaven.
Yeah, I never got to go to Rock and Roll Heaven. It shut down, and it sucked before the last bit before it shut down. But it was like, I can't remember her name that ran it before she moved to Phoenix, because it was on Much Music, her leaving, because they had a going away party. And it was like everybody that played there, they had a great glowing, a who's who of Canadian rock bands kind of played, I think, that night. And I was like, oh, that sucks, because I remember you were reading everything. Oh, yeah, so many bands would go through there back in the day.
Mm-hmm. It's quite the little spot. And little being the operative word. I always thought it was a fair-sized place, like
the way people refer to it.
600 people, right? And you get in there and, wow, a couple of hundred, maybe?
Yeah. It's one of those. It was one of those old venues, like Bovine Sex Club. When I played there, I was like, find out. Oh, you're booked here. I'm like, fuck. All right, that's a good club. I'm like, oh yeah, who are we opening for? No, we're headlining. Shit, really? Oh, okay. Well, hope we have some local support because we're not that big in Toronto yet. Type thing. Not that we ever got that big, but and I show up and I was like, oh, okay. I've played bars like this all up and down the 401. Like every main street in small town Ontario has long, narrow style bars from back in the day. And, long bar down one side and fucking nightmare for fucking sound because you're playing in a fucking tunnel. and the stage is either at the front, right inside the front door, or at the back of the venue.
Never fails.
Yeah.
Well, it's usually at the most inconvenient spot.
Well, except for, what the hell was it I played at? It's the Mod Club. Stage is like in the middle of the venue, but only facing the fronts because the back is like kind of a pubby type area and it's kind of foo-foo, she. I get it. They do a lot of DJ shit there and they need people, couches where you can do your various drugs of designer choice, I guess. I don't know. I didn't. It was okay to play there, but I think it was
kind of weird.
Or was it the Velvet Underground? I always get those two mixed up. I wasn't driving to and from that gig. I was in, I was out. When I'm
just along for the ride.
He did quite a few of those. I'm like, how much are we getting paid? Well, I'm like, fuck off. We're not doing share the door, are we? Yeah. Oh, fuck's sake. Great. We're going to make gas money at best. And then just hope we sell some merch. Fuck. I hope we sell some fucking merch. It's like, why? Because I'd like to stop for burgers on the way home and not have to pay for it. I'd like the band to pay for it. Thank you very much. Okay.
That makes sense.
Show up.
Oh, yeah.
You're playing for the other bands, a handful of girlfriends, the bar staff, and 4 people that know the promoter. Great. You're headlining. Can we open? Can we play first? Because I'd like to fucking get the fuck back out to Toronto because I got a 2-hour drive. Because we would never stay, or rarely we would stay overnight. Because, Toronto hotel prices. Why? And especially if it's a gig like that. I'm not spending $200 on a room.
No. And chances are you're wide awake anyways, right?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Like, it's not like you just hop off the stage and, okay, I am beat.
Yeah. And half the time, you're still wired after the gig. If you could just throw everything in the fucking trailer and get on the 401, the en route in Port Hope, which is, that's basically halfway home for us, like 45 minutes to an hour outside of, 45 outside. If you get to there, you hit there, they got whatever open late night. You grab a quick snack, you're home in another 45 minutes. Because at that time, you really have to piss too, right? Fuck, I shouldn't have downed that beer before we left. Yeah. What was I thinking?
Duh.
You're thinking, I'm cheap and it cost me $6 for that beer, so I'm drinking all of it. Yeah. Right. Although I will say Toronto bar staff, where live bands play, top notch most of the time. Like, I always love it. You go into a place, you're loading in at like 7:30. Half the time there might be a fire hydrant out front where you could pull up a truck and trailer temporarily to unload, and the cops don't care because you're like, you're like, dude, if there's a fire, we'll move. Don't worry about it because we're here, we're loading. And they're like, yeah, we get it. And then you go in and you order yourself a pint because you're thirsty from loading in gear. And the bartender asks, what are you drinking? So you tell them. And they're like, okay. And they put aside about 6 of them in the ice in the sink. You're like, oh, that's nice. That's a pleasant thing. I'm like, all right, I like that. Still got to pay for it, but at least they're keeping it nice and chilled for you. Extra cool.
Band reserve.
Yep. Sometimes, a pint might come your way that you don't pay for, but that's illegal in Canada. They cannot give you free booze in Canada. But if one happens, if the courtesy of the staff decide to buy it out of their own pocket, as far as I know, that's fine.
Had that happen a few times. Yeah. Flaming shot glasses on stage. Here, drink this.
We were playing some pub in like Mississauga. It's in the middle of a fucking strip plaza. Well, like one of those deals, like there's greenery between the entrance and the exit, like a nice strip mall.
Yep.
Like there's probably a dentist office in there, more chiropractor for sure, and we're playing in the whatever the anchor in the development is. They put in a restaurant. They hope it's a Kelsey's or some abomination with a bunch of crap on the wall, but some pub, and they decide to have pub night. We got booked in as an acoustic act because we would do that as well, which is, I just call it heavy slower because that's what it was. It's heavy still because we're playing in drop C on acoustics, and we'd slow it down a bit, make it less aggressive, less screaming, less growling.
And you just need metal.
Exactly. It's like if MTV Unplugged says, "Hey, will you cats come and play?" We're like, "Sure, I guess. Why not?" Because we wrote a lot of stuff on acoustic. And so we're going, and I was into loaded Coronas at the time, which is where you take a Corona, take a swig out of it, top it up with a shot of vodka, mix that up because you don't taste the vodka, and a couple of those, and you're really good to go. So,
what song was they playing?
Yeah, that was one of these gigs right after I got back from a trip down south, and I used to drink those in North Carolina a lot. Doug knows. Doug knows. And so I'm like, yeah, loaded Corona. So I always have the hip flask on me because I'm one of those guys. And so the waitress comes over, she gives us our round of Coronas, and then she sees me topping them up. Well, no, the first time we did it with their own shots of vodka. And fuck that, because they're charging like $6 for a shot of vodka plus $6 for the Corona. I'm like, I'm not paying $12 for a loaded Corona. There's a cheaper way. And I realized flask. So the next round, the waitress comes by, just shakes her head. She didn't even care. We're just topping up our own booze right there in the place.
I see nothing, I know nothing.
Yeah, but the problem, that's also the gig I learned you should not drink loaded Coronas before playing a set, because one of the, I don't know, we knew 30 plus songs, and I started 2 of them, and one of them we do in the acoustic set, and it was like, all right, start. And the problem was, didn't have a clue how to play it. Couldn't tell you what key it was in. Could not. Nope. Not a clue. It's like, play this song. Never heard of it. Well, I was like, I know that we play that song, but I was like, oh. And the other guitar player goes, really? You got to start one song tonight. I'm like, I know. Yeah, things happen, so he had to start the song. I'm like, oh, right. I'm like, do you want me to play your part? And he goes, fuck no, you can't even play your own.
But I've been pretty fortunate like that. I like rhythm is my gig. Rhythm and strange noises.
Oh, yeah. I said I was fine. Well, I thought I was fine. I was not bad, you know. But yeah, that one song, yeah, one of those just complete brain farts. I'm like, really? The one song I have to start? Can't think of it.
Solo time.
See, Dave, that's a good idea. Yep. We brought coolers on occasion, and generally it was 2 beers per band member. I like that because 2 beers doesn't get you stupid. You might get a touch sloppy if you can't hold your alcohol, or it does nothing other than keep the back of your throat wet, which is a real intended point. But I like that. Yeah, the 2 beer, and then, you know, depends on how it goes. Once you play a set, my God, the amount of times you go on stage and you're like, whew, I don't know if I can play right now. And I get in 2 songs in, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling pretty good. And by the end of the set, I'm stone cold sober.
I've never really gotten too carried away beforehand anyways. Like I'll do a beer in the shot.
You do when you're thinking about quitting the band for 4 months. I'm just saying. After a while, when you get sick of those, we're playing for a share of the door gigs, and you're not booking that shit, and you're booking proper gigs for the band. I'm like, my deal is you get my ass to and from the gig, and I'm not driving, so you know what that means. They're like, oh, great. You get what you pay for. That's all I'm saying. Now, it's one of those, hey, they're paying $1,000. Hoo-hoo! I am going to be a tip-top shape, sir. Looking all smiles and leather pants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In your best Barry White voice, you know.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, I was thinking, if I remember tomorrow, I got to find a flash drive to transfer. I may play one of the old band's tracks on tomorrow night's show.
Right on. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I found some online, but I didn't like that mix, and it's all compressed online. But I have some of the original stuff. The album sounded better raw than once it got produced. Yeah. I wasn't involved in the post-production. That's all I'm saying. That's why in 4+ years on this YouTube channel, you haven't heard anything from. But I remember the raw of a couple of tracks. I was like, oh, yeah, I like the mix on that. I'm happy with that.
Right on.
Yeah, read into that what you will, folks. You ever heard of creative differences? Yep. Anyways, what's happening in the chat? Not a whole lot. That's good.
Yeah, it's just kind of perusing that.
Carmen never drank at any of the shows. Yeah, like I say, there's some shows I was fine, and that was the other thing is I'm not going to say sloppy drunk, but kind of Captain Jack Sparrow-esque. And then, like I say, we play up to an hour and a half, and by the time I drink a beer on stage, and then switch to water, and come off stage. I'm like, all right, let's load up. Weren't you the guy that was? You were just all sweaty and shirtless and drunk, and I was. Not so much. Now I'm just tired and want to go home.
That was my alternate ego.
That's right. There's a few photos of that guy on the interweb. Yeah. Good times, though. Would not trade it for anything.
Right on. How you doing, Butter Jams?
What's up, Mr. Jams? So when you were gigging out, were you based out of Barrie at the time?
Pretty much. I've been out in BC for about 10 years. Have yet to play a gig in BC. Major disappointed. But it's going to come along. Most of my stuff is back in Barrie. Played in a couple of country bands, some big shiny tune bands. Mm-hmm. One of the best ones I played in was...
Nobody outside of Canada is going to get that reference for a genre of music, big shiny tunes.
Big shiny tunes, yeah.
Sup, Scott? I just saw you for the first time there, buddy. I'm sorry. Oh, thanks, buddy. Symmetry. I believe there was a mention of more than one explorer-shaped object.
You are correct, Symmetry.
Oh.
I only got two guitars, and they're both explorer shaped. What are the odds?
Who knew? Who knew?
It's pretty cool too. But yeah, as far as gigging, pretty much all back in Barrie. One of the best bands I played in. We essentially played a set of Joe Satriani, a set of Iron Maiden, and a set of various stuff. Highway Star, Frankenstein, Sabbath, so on and stuff like
and
that.
what would you do? Kind of gig in and around just Barrie or up and down the 400?
Pretty much in around Barrie. Furthest away we played was the Brûlé. Had I didn't know it at the time. It had James Labrie and one of his buddies walking at the time. Didn't know who it was at the time, but in hindsight now, I know exactly who it was. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, Dave, thanks. He says, what are big shiny tunes? So, how do you explain it? So,
I just rhyme off of bands.
Every year, Much Music would do a compilation CD of kind of up-and-coming Canadian talent, but thrown in with a handful of big hits of the year, we'll say, because people would then buy it. So you'd have a mix like for 10 tracks, it'd be like 3 top 10 hits, 3 that you're like, oh yeah, they're not bad, and then 3 you're like, who are these people?
Never.
But it all kind of fit a kind of a produced corporate package, which I don't know. Later it became obvious with that whole Theory of a Nickel Creed situation, which kind of killed rock music. Nickelback and all of its derivatives therein, where it was just so obviously, you hear it a lot in the country music industry now too. I always say that to Doug. We'll be listening to the radio on the way down. I was like, really? Is there 4 producers in Nashville? Because I'm hearing the same 4 songs all over and over again. Like, seriously. You can tell they all have their signature mix. Hey, we got to get him. He's got a signature mix. Fuck it. It's obvious he's got a signature. Well, okay, and the banjo's going to come in at this point, and you won't hear it again until the fucking bridge. And it's only there for a little diddly, and then gone. Sure. Compressed. Everything's compressed.
Oh, to the max.
Yeah. It's spread out wide and compressed. They've just steamrolled that. It's just, it's like, oh, so it was fucking IMAX. That's it. Movie theaters. It's like that. It's just fucking, No.
You ever get down to Ontario Place and check out an IMAX movie?
I have.
An IMAX show?
I have. That was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say during a school trip in the 80s / going with my ma in the 80s at some point. It's one of those, hey! Because it would be like a Tuesday afternoon in, let's say, May or June, where mom decided to take us out of school for the day and do a trip to Toronto. Hey, we're in, And because it's a Tuesday in May or June. What's up, Dylan? Thanks again for the shirt, guys. Flips ad music. They'd have like IMAX instead of being $5 in the 80s, it was $1 because they're just happy anybody would go in. We're like, all right. And it's like some ocean documentary or something like that. You're like, all right. And you're like, oh, crap, this is amazing. I think it was all subsidized by the government too. I know those socialists. Shh. We don't talk about that.
Ixnay on the Institute.
Yeah. Yeah, some grants moved around. I don't understand. It's like every Canadian film ever made has a tax credit from the Canadian Film Board. Like every single one. It's like rule number 1, if you come up with a concept, immediately step 2 is to apply for a Canadian tax credit from the Canadian Film Board or subsidizing. It's one of the...
And here's your money.
Yeah.
which is a bonus for, you know, like new creative types and et cetera, et cetera. But there's, you know, there's abusing.
If you're an artist and you know where to look, there are programs to help with that. What's up, Manfred? Adam D. You know, different kinds of arts and stuff. You all hear about that. It's like endowments or just even government programs. It's like if you have this kind of a reach, so you influence this kind of a community of people, then you qualify for grants and or tax credits and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't understand that, but sure, it's so starving artists aren't starving, essentially. I don't get it. Yeah. I don't know if any of that still exists. That was while I was growing up, so probably not, but who knows?
I'm not too sure if it does anymore. I haven't heard about that for quite a while. But
we're so stripped out. Like, we still have SOCAN in a sense. At least that's all free and taken care of or something. I don't know who runs that, but it's weird. SOCAN's like, we're not the government, but we use government money to administer it. So I'm like, isn't that kind of then you're the government? They're like, no, we're not the government. I'm like, whatever, I don't care. They're like, oh, what do I gotta do? I'm like, you got a song? Yeah. Let's make sure it's copywritten and let us know about it. Keep us in the loop. That's all we ask. Keep us in the loop. And then if we ever hear of anyone ever giving a fuck about your song, we'll make sure you get your 10th of a cent. Deal? And you're like, yeah, I guess that's a deal. Sure. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't know if they have an office tower full of people. Probably not. Or it's all virtual. Probably all virtual. Oh, Papa Blue, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. Actually, it's pretty straightforward. If you have nothing to deduct, you can do your taxes in Canada in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, very simple.
Yeah. And they do it for you, pretty much. Everything's already submitted to the government. You basically confirm what they already know. Like, so did you make this much last year? Yep. Got any other outlying issues? You're like, well, I had to pay out for some of this. They're like, we don't care. All right, well, I had to pay out for this. Oh, well, we care about that. All right, well, here's $20 to cover your costs. You're like, well, it's fucking $200. You're like, yeah, but we give you 10% back. All right, well, it's $20 more than I had 5 minutes ago, I guess. So, sure, sign here, and we'll deposit in either a week or a month and a half. It's kind of like NAMM show guitars with tax refunds. Here it is. When can I get it? Well, we don't know, really. When we get to it.
Yeah.
And it's been that way. Yeah, it's been that way for as long as I've been doing my taxes, which is decades, when there was all paper and, some person's looking at it, possibly with a pencil behind their ear to figure it all out, to then a punch cardy type thing to all automated on the inner Google now. Still takes the same amount of fucking time. I don't understand it.
Yeah,
so to answer your question on Big Shiny Tunes.
They're big and they're bright.
Holy fuck. I am high as fuck tonight, but man, that stuff does not make me lazy, apparently. I get a little ranty. The problem is I've been watching too much Lewis Black comedy lately. I will admit it.
I don't know if I've had the pleasure yet.
He, first, I'll say gain notoriety doing a segment on The Daily Show. Kind of rants a lot. It's kind of his thing, rants. And apparently over the last couple of years, he's had fans will write in their own rant, or people that go to a show can write in rants in advance, and he'll rants in advance. He'll read them on stage, and basically it just shows you really have a lot less patience for stupidity after a while.
It happens when you get older too.
Yeah. Manfred asks, whatever happened to Anvil, Canuck boys from your way? I enjoyed the documentary back in the heyday. Well, what do you think? Carrying on, treading water, like they're not big rich rock stars again or ever. They're doing the same thing they were doing in the documentary, like playing shows, making albums, selling merch. just like any of us would, just as any other independent band would. Play the occasional festival. Seem to do most of the recording the last few albums overseas, so I assume it's because they do have a following in Europe. Fucking European metal fans are hardcore. And so they might get a deal on studio time. I don't understand. I don't know. I played a show with them, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. I got to open for them, so that was fun. Their drummer, Rob Reiner's sister, is dating a buddy of mine the last year or two. A couple years now, I think they've been together. So it's an arm's length affiliation with them in that respect.
I saw Anvil once opening up for Dio on the Holy Diver tour at Massey Hall.
Nice.
That was a good show. We were front row, second balcony up in Massey Hall. And Anvil comes out, and everybody's, just, they're kind of crowded by the front of the stage. And Anvil comes out, and first thing he says, okay, I want you fuckers up at the front of the stage right now. And the whole bottom floor goes a freaking tidal wave of people. Holy fucking loud. Might be the loudest show I've ever been to, for sure.
I get it. BC Rich said, I am not surprised, BC Rich, because I know your sense of humor. He says, Lewis Black has this awesome ranting special on how to survive the holidays with relatives. It's a tradition in my house. I get it. Okay. Stephen Fraser joining in. Hey, buddy. He says, can your guest say what he likes about the Explorer?
Oh, what do I like about it? I find it really comfortable to sit down with, actually. Like as compared to a Les Paul.
Sure.
Or a BE naturally. A Les Paul I find a little too offset.
Mm-hmm.
I can either cross my legs like I have now, or just, both feet straight out and be in a comfy position.
Yep.
And this particular guitar just sustains forever. Walk away 5 minutes later, it's still ringing. It's incredible. I wish I had. It is kind of plugged in, but the sound is really bad. And of course, I couldn't even find my tuner before I got here.
Oh,
I know it's in tune. I know where it is, Sounds like ass. But
Papa Blue says, any news on Bent Tom? Hope he's doing better. We did have a Thomas sighting in Mr. Ronquillo's chat yesterday morning.
Right on.
Which I believe is either 2 weeks in a row, or Tom was there a couple of weeks ago and then missed last week and then was back yesterday. I can't remember. I don't know. But yeah, we're talking in the chat, and I sent him a message after the show, but I hadn't heard back from him. But I think he was finishing up his antibiotics, and he's still fighting along. So keep him in your thoughts, folks, because we love Brother Tom. He could be lurking. I don't know.
He's a good dude.
Yep. But yes, whilst. Since I'm thinking about it, next week on the Sunday Night Hang, we have Brother Aaron from Elvis Band coming on for a hang, because, why not? I swear we could do a show every week with hanging out together, but I would not subject you folks to that. So it's, every couple of months. So, hanging out with Brother Aaron. Going to pick his brain on some pedals as usual. Find out what's up with his band. Last we heard he was doing some recording. So I don't know. Maybe it's done. He hasn't sent me anything. Bastard. Anyways, so we'll catch up with Aaron next week, and then 2 weeks from tonight, I don't know who's going to be on with me, but any of you that has a green persuasion, because it'll be the 320 show, because we're going to start it a month early, because it works that way, Hipmetalworx. I'm just saying, 320, sure. Because we got these edibles here, which are from the Left Coast Gummy Company.
Hey.
And I figured, they got 20 of these suckers in this bag, and I'd like to eat the whole bag on air, and I'll just eat one every time we get a super chat of $5 or more. And let's see what happens. Already made sure, don't have to drive my sister into work the next morning, because I might be down for the count after the show. So, yeah, we're going to try that out, see what happens with that.
Right on.
Yeah, and I'll probably mistakenly smoke bowls during the show too, which, that, sure, why not, right? Fuck. Only good can come of that. So, yeah, I'm looking at any of you fellow partakers of the, what do they call that, the Devil's Lettuce? Sure, let's go with that. It's a 320 show, 2 weeks from tonight. Symmetry says brilliant, so you know what that means. He's in. Shocked.
What are the odds?
Yeah, maybe we'll get Octopus Ears on for once. Just saying, since he wants to go bowl for bowl. Sup, Bumblebass? I'll tell you one thing. BC Rich 581 won't return my calls. Won't return them. I'm like, come on. Nope. Come on. Nope. Come on. Nope. I'll let you rant about Nike 6. Maybe? No. He's just a tease. Oh, I don't do Red Bulls, Dave. Closest I get is Mountain Dew. I can't do energy drinks. Wherever the fuck they use to make them energy drinks, I can taste it. And what it is, I don't like. So I can't drink any of them. Tried. Hey, 6-string Stanger. Like, literally, the last couple of years, we were down south in Charlotte because Monster Energy started sponsoring the top series. I was literally getting handed cases of Monster Energy drink. Like, flats of 24 tall boy cans of all kinds. I'm like, I didn't know you had more than one. And they're like, yeah, here, have the whole fucking selection. I'm like, I don't need this. I don't drink your crap. So literally anybody that would come by, energy drink. Like, anybody, please take them. I forget who I gave them all the way to. What's up, Greg? Welcome. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Octopus here. See, I am not aware, or you told me and I forgot. Again, certain lifestyle choices. So, okay, get your internet situation. That's cool. All right. That's cool. Because Octopus Ears is pretty damn active in the community, and I thought he would... Oh. Someone's awake. Get some sleep, my friend. Brother, China Mike. Everyone should check out China Mike's channel as well. He always gives me shout-outs. I never get to give him shout-outs. There's Aaron. Just talking about you earlier. You're on next week. That's going to be fun. So yes, if you haven't already, folks, check out CGS. It's pretty easy to find. Just look for that logo. Just type in those 3 letters. Find them. Join the fun. Puts out videos Wednesdays and Fridays, possibly, or Tuesdays and Fridays. I'm Wednesday and Fridays. I can't remember if I ripped that off from him, or it's coincidence, or he's Tuesdays and Fridays. And I tried to just make it a little different. I don't remember. Plus live shows every Sunday for now. He's got a new live channel going on as well. They're trying to ramp up. So we shall see. What's up, Mad Raj? Dave says, I think Nita Strauss was endorsing Monster a couple years ago. She might be still because she did the national anthem at last week's NASCAR race.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty damn cool.
I actually missed
Bird
that.
did not stand tune the whole song, but I get it. You know, play outside with a Floyd Rose. I dare you. Floating. Dare you. Plus, I think she's got a hard grip because I saw her perform before in person outside, and the guitar would not stay in tune for the first while. And Charles is reporting in that he does, in fact, still hates wet sanding. I get it, buddy. I get it. I get it.
Does anybody like it?
Well, you know, the worst part is when he told me he had to refin it again, and because we had drilled the extra hole in the body, and then all of a sudden I realized several days later, I'm like, hey, we don't need that extra hole. You could dowel it before you refin it. But I thought of that 2 days after he started refinning it again. He's like, oh, I can work it out. I'm like, no, you can't. I don't want you to have to fiddle or redo it again. So don't worry about it, buddy. I already feel your pain. So we'll get it. We'll get it all together soon. And people are eager for the Creamer Beretta special stuff. Like I did the one video so far in the series that the guitar needs a nut. And I don't even replace the nut in the video. And that video is one of my better performing videos in a long time for some reason. And all I do is go, hey, this needs a nut. Road trip to the store to buy a nut. That was it. That's the whole fucking video. And it's not like I'm getting a ton of comments going, hey, you say you're replacing it. I said, no, it's titled It Needs One. There's nothing in the title that says I'm replacing one. You inferred from my clickbaity type title, haha, because I am trying to gain subscribers. And it worked twice. You know, welcome the 2 subscribers that subscribe based on that video. I hope you're tuned in live. What's up, Sean McCartney? Hobo Roadie is here.
I'm going to do a quick little guitar switch here for symmetry. Use the headphones. Headphones are a pain in the ass.
Oh, I was debating doing another bowl, but I'm feeling pretty damn good already. I just don't know. Have I mentioned how much I love this shirt, folks? Like, come on. Oh, by the way, I just noticed. Yeah, we'll wait for the headphones. Hey, what you do? Oh, that's pointier. I still haven't mailed this yet. It will be in the mail soon. I'm going to add some other stuff, which, if you watch the repair, I might start including pipettes, sending out a pipette or 2 with every damn thing I ship out because I got hundreds of them and they're getting my way. So,
well, I thought you were going to say a Left Coast gummy.
Oh. They're like, you're not allowed to do that. You're like, but it's legal. Yeah, but you're not allowed to mail that. But it's legal. You know, no.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Just kidding.
Scott Brock says, the Kelly. And Symmetry says, yeah, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, the reverse inlay. That's interesting. Reverse inlays, but not a reverse headstock.
Nope.
All right. So I think you can get every combination with a Jackson. You can get inlays, headstock, inlays, reverse headstock, reverse inlays, headstock. Now, can you get reverse inlays and reverse headstock? And they're like, that's just a left-handed neck. Whatever.
Yeah, basically, man.
Travis made homemade root beer. That's interesting.
I'm not really sure what year this is. If you go strictly by the serial number, it's a 1990.
Ooh.
I personally don't think it's a 1990. No neck plate. For starters.
That seems a little odd.
No
like
number
if
plate.
It was vintage.
Yeah.
Huh.
I bought one of the Japanese Kellys back in 91, 92 down at Steve's Music in Toronto for about 12 or 1300.
Back when that place rocked.
Yeah, it was nice.
Octopus ears, I shall join you for a bowl, but the gummies are in for 2 weeks from tonight. Aaron already says, "Oh, Ben's going to eat them all before the show." No, I have not cracked that bag open yet. But
so I'm kind of thinking, from what I can find, it's kind of an odd one. I kind of think this is like a transition Kelly right before they went from the Kelly Professionals over to the KE3.
Mm-hmm. Here, let me start.
This doesn't have the plastic inlays, which would kind of make me think it's a KE3. But the serial number kind of says different. I think I'm not up enough on my Jacksons to know. I just know what I like and what I don't, kind of thing. Yeah,
the Jacksons, and there are a few that I have fucking fallen in love with, and I almost bought multiple. Well, and I owned a Jackson. They have that cool, much like the Kramer Beretta Special. They do the JS11, which they're still $200 Canadian, and they play and sound great. Mm-hmm. Love mine. Just need some money at the time, and I was never playing it because got Kramer.
This thing is pretty sweet too.
Travis asks, "Is it neck through? It's a bolt-on neck, is it not?"
Bolt-on.
And made in Japan.
Made in Japan.
Nice. Oh,
I'm thinking it's either a 94 or 95. Serial number shows a 1990. 1990 axes were all 6 digits. 0 to 5. 0 is 1990. 1 is 1991.
All right.
2 is 1992, etc.
But
the rest of the guitar doesn't jive with the serial number. So I tried looking through the Jackson catalog, the JCF online forum, the usual places, and I still can't really find anything that kind of says, okay, this is what it is. And I'm thinking it's a transition guitar between the old Jackson Kelly Professional series.
Mm-hmm.
And when they started coming up with the KE3 in 95, I think. So I think this is
interesting because, like, Travis is noticing again, the inlays are upside down, and then Greg says, no, the headstock is. And I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that might be a reverse headstock lefty neck.
Nope.
It just
because you can go in a 1995 catalog and look at a KE3,
right?
And they had the standard kind of hockey stick neck with the reverse inlays, which same finish, like the same translucent trans blue burst, I think they call it. Same finish. So for the longest time, I thought this was a KE3, but it's not. The KE3 has plastic inlays. These are in plastic. So I'm really starting to wonder if it's a Franken Kelly. It doesn't matter. It plays killer.
Exactly.
Killer. You know, it's
so. All right. So here's another rant for me. So I don't know how much it costs to pay some person like Absolute Mayhem to do some programming or something. Why can't every notable guitar brand have some form of database where you can just plug in your flipping serial number and they tell you what it is? Like, is that impossible in 2022? Like, seriously.
Definitely for any of the stuff I got. Like, you can find pretty much zero information on the 76, 77,
Yeah, like, even if it's
78
basic
Explorers.
info, you know, like you plug in that serial number, they're like, I don't know, it was made between 92 and 95, and it could be one of these 3 models. All right, well, at least you gave me a point of some reference, you know, that you can go from there. But I just, I just don't understand how. Yeah, I guess, Greg H. Knowledge is power. But yeah, that just bugs me. Like, because, like, Epphone, like, someone's had that serial number data thing online for, like, a decade. I can just plug in an Epphone serial number, like, oh, yeah, it was built here at this time, it was a Tuesday, and it was sunny, and holy crap. And that's been around.
The guy was in a good mood.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, all that stuff.
All right.
But yeah, it's really hard to find info about this. I'm still kind of confused.
Fender's getting better, Sean. I will admit, Fender's getting better because the first time I tried to look up the serial number on the 67 telly, they were like, yeah, it's a 66 through 70. I'm like, really? Really? That's what you're giving me? That's a long range, guys. So it was really hard to, because I really wanted to nail it down. Because, you know, it's like, sure, you find out, like, Dad was the original owner, but he bought the guitar new, but how long was it hanging on the wall for? You know, was it hanging on the wall for 18 months? But still a new guitar? I don't know. That's what I wanted to know. Getting better, though. But it should be you should be going to Fender.com, and there's a little link. What's up, JJ? Brother James? You know, you should be able to plug in your serial number, and this is what it is. Go to Ibanez.com. There it is. Gibson, same deal. Why they can't do that? Now, we'll give a little slack to somebody like Kramer because they're like, we don't know. We weren't that company in 1985. Like, there's been sales and mergers, and like, we have a logo and a headstock, but we don't have the paperwork, and because they didn't care in the first place. So those, all right, you know, like, that's a legacy company in that way. Like, all right, but going forward, better freaking database. Hopefully I'm out of rants tonight.
At Absolute Mayhem, are the inlays, are they pearl? Yeah, mother of pearl. I kind of...
That too, Mad Raj.
Because I know the KE3s are plastic.
If it's a bolt-on neck, I want serial numbers on both the neck and the body. And a serial number on a neck plate doesn't mean squat, because that neck plate could go on anything.
Yeah. I haven't taken this guitar apart yet, so I don't know if there's going to be anything in the neck range or not. There might be something in the pickup cavity, or
there could be.
I've had
yeah.
to back off. But...
Yeah, apparently the mod. What is it? I think Gibson does that. Like, under one of the pickups, there's like a barcode, which is like just like a VIN code for a car. Like, you can scan it and it'll tell you, oh, this is exactly what the guitar is. Because they do that for the assembly line process, so that you can scan it. Oh, it gets the burst buckers. Blah blah blah. Yeah. All right, that's cool, because that way you can make, I don't know, is this coming? Oh, it's a studio. This is a classic. This is a standard. Like, they could all be coming down the line, and you're the pickup guy, and you're going, oh, this one gets this one gets that.
True. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I get it.
That might be my next course of action. How you doing, JJ? Good to see you.
How did the recording make out, JJ? Last I heard, you were doing some recording. We should probably just set up another hang with JJ as well at some point in the future.
He's a cool dude. I like him. Lots of stories.
Hog Rotten says, now Fender's great. I called them. Yeah, you got to call them. That's true. But they're pretty easy to date, like the MIM stuff, because the serial number is a bit VIN codey, where you know, based on how many are made in a given year. You can tell just by, because they tell you the year right there, sometimes even a month. And then I think headphones did that year and month as well for years.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Terry, have a good night, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow.
Right, yeah, take care.
He needs the caffeinated beverage. He might have got into one of those infused beverages. Just saying. Just saying. Randy Crooks wants to comment, and why not? I'm a big proponent of playing the guitar before you buy it. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. I don't want to touch it. Yeah, I get it.
For sure.
But, you know, but I will admit also, if you live in some area where there's nothing of note within 2 hours of you drive, or more possibly, you know, then you got to buy online, which sucks balls, in my opinion. JJ reports in, still going strong, 6 songs in, left the studio this morning at 4:30. Nice, magic going down. Psyched to share with everyone. Yes, so proud of you, buddy. So happy, so happy. I was surprised how quickly they answered the phone. Well, that's nice. At least there's not long hold times. And you would like to think if you were on hold with Fender, you would hear nothing but like Fender endorsees music. Just saying. I'm not going to hear Freeze all right now. Damn, oh, damn. That's a sweet Les Paul through a Marshall. That's nothing that Fender makes. I'm not going to hear it.
No Megadeth or nothing like that, you know.
No.
Bummer.
That's okay. That's okay. There's lots of, especially once they add, oh, you want an HSS? We'll do that for you. Here's a whole line of signature guitars. There was a while there, even as far early as 80s into the 90s. Like I'm saying, anybody that was playing a modded Strat by the end of the decade basically had a signature version of that Strat with whatever mod. And that was the cool thing about signature Strats, at least back then, was, you know, it wasn't just a paint job color or a neck feel or something like that. It was a modded guitar like theirs.
Yeah.
You know, it's not necessarily the custom shop version, but half the time it wasn't like, oh, it's a Dave Murray signature. Well, it's not like Dave Murray started with a fucking custom shop Strat. He says, I got this, and they want you to do this to it. All right. And then Fender's like, I like that, and you sell a lot of records. Here's some money. Yeah, sure. I get it. I would do the same thing, too. That's what being a rock star is all about.
Yeah, like, unless you've got the money, like, kind of my perspective, like, once, like, all the guys who buy new Gibsons, you know, like $3-4 for a new Les Paul. And it's nothing special. Just for the name Les Paul, I mean Gibson, basically. I mean, for that kind of coin, I'd rather go down the street to my local luthier and, hey, man, you know, what you got? Can you make me a guitar? And this is what I'm looking for. What kind of stuff have you done before? Yeah. And there are surprising number of those.
I can build you a 59 looking burst that actually looks like a 59 burst. You're like, perfect, because that's what I would like, and not spend $7,000 for a custom shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, like,
I kind of wouldn't mind an SG shaped guitar. I've always kind of dug them. But anyone I played, you know, the old neck dive, right?
There are those unicorns out there. I will admit, I have played an SG one that didn't have. Now, and I know there are other ones out there, but Richie had one for a while. He's like, dude, no neck dive. I don't remember what I didn't like about it, though. I think it had a maple neck. It's a weird feeling. You know, I like to feel the mahogany on a Gibson. Maple neck on a Gibson feels weird. I'm not going to lie. It feels a little weird. I don't get it. I say it's an idiosyncrasy as a guitar player, but that's what makes me me. Same reason I can have same reason I hate the finish on a Fender neck, but I don't mind thick finish on a Les Paul neck for some reason half the time. As long as it isn't too grippy, but half the time, like hell, my J Tercer, for instance, which, it's just cheap poly paint because that was one of the cheap ass guitars. For years, I've debated sanding the neck on it, and I've yet to get around to it. Why? Because it's never pissed me off to the point, like, it's already comfortable enough. And it just played its way in. So now it's fine. Probably because it's got a handful of scratches up and down it. Very light, of course, but just case wear and stuff like that. Because it's been out to a couple 100 gigs, rehearsals and whatevers. Heavy SGs don't neck dive. This is true.
Yeah, I can relate to that, Randy. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Oh, hey, this is pretty cool. I bet a few of those. And then you're going to separate the wheat from the chaff, right?
It's funny because, talk to Absolute Mayhem. Go into a music store and I'll just kind of literally go, okay. He's like, anything you want to play? No. Not to say that it was all junk in the place. It's just, no, I've kind of like, hey, do you want to play an American Strat? No. They play the same as they did 25 years ago. And they play fine. Unless it's like a new model or something, I may want to check. That's the thing. Other than new factor like that, but then there's certain times you go into certain stores and you're, oh, cool, what's that? And you're like, you're going to play it? No, because if I play that, I probably won't be able to put it down. So, no, I won't play that guitar. Yeah. Because it's already speaking to me. Before I'm even playing it, it's going, come to me. And I'm like, no, I'll be over here, away. Oh, look, pedals. Yeah, then I just get distracted by pedals, and then we're good.
Pedals are usually way cheaper anyway, so you don't feel as bad buying a pedal as opposed to another axe, right?
Yeah. JJ says, my father-in-law is insulted. You've only played an SG once. It's his go-to. I've played several of them. I've only ever found one that didn't neck dive. That's why I'm not an SG fan. Because 9 times out of 10 or more, they neck dive. Although I'm curious to try an SG Junior. They seem to have their own mojo. I don't know what it is about them, but a lot of people dig SG Juniors. It's a whole own animal altogether, and I get that. I want to try one of those. I want to see how it's balanced.
What's the difference between that and the Les Paul Junior?
Well, shape for one thing, but that's about it. Yeah. Shape, and single P90, and it's weird with like Les Paul Juniors actually prefer humbuckers in them, but an SG Junior I would definitely want a P90 in it, and I don't know why.
It's your jam basically for that guitar.
What's that?
That's your jam for that guitar, you figure? P90?
I think so, because I've seen a lot of players talk about them, and they were like, oh, it's a game changer. It's like, I hated SGs until I played one of these type thing. I was like, all right, let me try it. I don't know. Maybe it's like the same way a Big Muff is kind of your gateway fuzz into the world of fuzz pedals. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's like give anyone a cheap Telecaster. They get hooked enough that they're like, I might have to get a better Tele. Because there's something about a Tele. And sometimes you got to grow into them. Age into a Tele on occasion.
They're kind of cool. I like them. I played a couple. I played a couple of really nice Squires, like back in the 80s, actually. Mm-hmm. That were, whoa, like smoking guitars. Like I almost thought about buying one, but not rock and roll enough, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Like that's the thing. Like I started out playing on Dad's until I got a guitar of my own, and I was just like, because I was playing it through a Vibraprint, so it was just clean beyond clean. There was no gain. It was just a master volume, and so no gain at all. I was like, oh, this blows. This is not cool. This doesn't sound like AC/DC. This doesn't sound like Motley Crue. It sucks. And I got a Les Paul, well, deluxe, and it had some gain. And playing through the amp, it still sounded like ass. And then I got a distortion box, and then my tone sounded like ass. But hey, I was happy. I had distortion. Covered up my terrible playing.
Yeah, smudge gain. That's my trick too. Just maybe bar. Well, that's why I stick to rhythm and strange noises, right?
Yep.
Because I know at some point I can do leads and stuff like that. Like I've done a 3-piece thing and doing Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, stuff like that. And not my cup of tea. I just get too frantic. Like I can play the first 10 seconds of a solo and then you kind of go into Frank Zappa land. Just
I
don't think none of you should be playing.
I've played a handful of original solos live, and as far as for cover tunes, I never even attempted the original solos. Even if there were signature bits, actually, I don't think we ever played anything that would have had signature guitar solos anyways. And if we did, Richie would have handled those lead words. But yeah, I just didn't, because I think that was part of it. He's like, yeah, just go nuts. And then it was funny because 99% of the time, at least in my experiences, guitar players generally play the same solo every night to their songs.
Yeah.
And I never play the same solo twice, other than I do the same 3 little licks, not necessarily in the same order over the course of a solo. I work in my little licks, but wasn't any particular order or anything. And just, that's kind of the way it rolled. Or if I did a lick in one solo, I would make sure I wouldn't use it in the other solo. I'm like, oh no, you can't play the same solo to every fucking song, type thing.
And that's kind of what mine wind up sounding like, right? Just.
But on the other hand, it's like, it's a different key. Nobody will know. You're having that inner term. Yeah, your bandmates will know. Yeah, that's true.
I was always pretty fortunate to have a wicked lead guitar player. I met him when he was 18, 19, I think. Natural left-handy. Plays ready.
Sounds familiar.
So what's the first year of the Ibanez Gem? 84? 85?
No, I think later than that.
Ibanez Gem in yellow. Kind of a different guitar. But the guy was doing Satriani solos note for note, nuance for nuance.
Right.
After a year. Okay.
It's the 80s.
And then he got better.
87, Floop-de-Doo says. Yeah.
I thought that was the first year. It's a really cool guitar.
Yeah, I think 85 may have been the first year of the RG, maybe. And then the Gem came out shortly after the RG. Again, I could be wrong on that. I wasn't playing at the time.
Yeah, I never really got into them. Really, like saxes. Like this Vinica Kelly's a fair bit thicker. Not quite as.
Well, it's kind of like, I don't know if you were the same as me. Like, you obviously being a music fan growing up, you're like, I want to do that. And then as the 80s, like for me, because I started playing in literally, I think I did January 1st, 89 is when I started playing guitar, because I played bass previously for a few months. And by that time, I'm watching the 80s progress. I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I can do that. Like, this is getting crazy, because everybody was trying to be Eddie Van Halen. And literally, I think within a year of me starting to play, I discovered Guns N' Roses. And I'm like, who's that Izzy Stradlin guy? Like, I can do that. I can just stand around in the background looking off in the distance, playing chords. I can do that. And then I saw East Frehley, and I went, oh, that's pretty cool. And I'm like, oh, he's just playing sloppy Chuck Berry licks. All right, I can do that. Fuck.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I've been there too. It's a bit of bass playing tunes.
Well, I think, and then like Dad told me, he's like, it's not a competition. It's art, you know.
Nope, not at all.
Oh yeah, and point like Mickey said,
is,
and Gene Simmons. They both are pointers. Yeah, you know, or sorry, this hand because they'll play in open keys. So
like if you can take a guitar and make, you know, even at you're at a gig and make contact with one person and just knowingly, physically move them with what you're playing or how you're putting it across.
What do you do?
Stellar. You know, it's the ultimate rush.
Speaking of sloppy Chuck Berry riffs, I love CC. It's true though. Although it did seem like competition, especially in high school. It was hilarious too, because God, I was in high school when grunge hit, and it literally went from like, I don't know, like you're noodling in the hallway on a Wednesday. Hey, can you play Eruption or some Satriani thing out at the moment? No. That guy, and that guy can. They're the real guitar players in the school, in my opinion. Oh. And then literally the next day, can you play Smells Like Teen Spirit? Yes. Will you? No, because I'm trying to learn Eruption and Joe Satriani. I didn't get it at first. I was like, no. And I was like, well, it's kind of like punk, but do I want to play punk? No, you're not going to get into any music school playing punk. You got to play the Joe Satriani crap to get into Humber.
Yeah, it's
because they took like six people a year, and they had the only quality music program. They were our Berkeley / GTI / all that, because it's Canada, so in one. And it was Humber, and they took like 6 guys a year, and it's thousands of guys like us.
Yeah, I know a few people who've done that. One bass player in particular, a guy named Bill Norman from Saga Beach, Ontario, just wicked ass bass player. And dude, I mean, sight reads, jazz chops, all that kind of stuff, no problem. He didn't get in. Like, pardon? And the guys who is, and just brainiac and feel.
All right,
right on the money.
The Mayhem asks, for us, say you're buying a pointy guitar-shaped object. Okay, what's your test song in the store? I'll say in the store. I don't really play pointy guitar type music.
Usually depends. Believe it or not, usually the first thing I'll start off is with Joe Satriani. Just see how that rings. Then move on to something else.
The truthful answer is I played the same stupid A major pentatonic little lick that I play in every damn demo, pedal review of any, like that, as JJ calls it. It's the Ben Coombs riff. He calls it. That's what it is. I'd probably play that, but other than that, I'm thinking if I'm going to play a pointy shaped song to go with a pointy shaped guitar, does Crazy Train count? Because I know it was banned in music stores by 1986, but like people always say, no Stairway. Fuck, around here was no Crazy Train, because Jesus, that was the song prior to a Satriani. Do you play Crazy Train? Yes. Do you play it well? No.
Yeah. Or you walk into the store and if someone's in the store playing Satriani, usually surfing.
Yeah, it used to be the guys that were noodling Satriani were the guitar shop employees. That's what. Those were and you valued their opinion. You're like, hey, what's cool and new? They're like, hey, I tried this out last weekend playing down at the Horseshoe. Oh, yeah? How it worked? Fucking fell apart. Do not buy this. Don't tell the manager I said that. This, however, holy crap, this is awesome. Nobody knows about that. You're like, oh, yeah, let me check it out. And they were cool that way. Now, yeah, they get the kid playing Satriani. It's because he's had a private tutor for 6 years, because I see them in the platinum room at Cosmo. Mayhem knows what I'm talking about. They're all 17. They can all play the Satriani shit note for note. And their dad's sitting there filming them, just grinning ear to ear, living. It's like the hockey dad of musicians. Holy shit. They're playing fucking Sirs and Tom Andersons and through a mess of boogie and just fucking wring their necks. But then again, you're like, well, if that's the hope of the future of guitar, I guess fucking you gotta, hey.
Yeah, 15 grand later.
Yeah. Well, that was wonderful.
And then I wouldn't mind a boogie. I wouldn't mind a boogie, but I ain't got 5 grand for one. The hell with that.
Oh, and I'm just like, I'm in there because I want to shoot a couple demos while we're in the city. And, I'm not getting my hands on high-end guitars around here necessarily, so. But you had to wait and wait and wait. Enter Sandman, holy fuck, yes. Probably in the 90s, I could see that. I could see that. There was was I still in high school when that came out? I can't remember. It's either I was still in or just out of. I can't remember. I remember, Crazy Train. Jesus, you could hear the eye roll by the entire staff of a guitar shop as soon as someone started playing Crazy Train.
Yeah. Not again. No.
Yeah. Nope. That's back when the guitar shop employees were still kind of dicks. Like there was no customer service, and that I get it. You had to earn their respect to touch the top shelf gear or get acknowledged presence. They're like, are you here to even buy picks? Like, why are you here? To loiter. All right, well, just touch the import stuff over there, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep the drool down.
Yeah, so you get to play your Charvette through a little PV Rage and be happy about it.
Yeah. Right on. What do we got? I'm just trying to scan the room, looking for familiar names or.
Yeah, you do, Doug. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I never really had a specific go-to song to play in the store.
Come to think of it,
up and whatever happens, just happens.
For any brick and mortar retail, if anybody wants to play anything on a guitar, if it means a sale, they're happy for you to play whatever the hell you want.
Mm-hmm.
Seems that way, Mayhem. I told you, it's too many Lewis Black videos, I swear. I usually get the Grind My Gear stuff out on Monday nights, but apparently it's Sunday night tonight. Could be this Big Smooth. Oh, it got me riled up. I don't know. We have any other questions, concerns? Let's see. Michael Crow says, I love that my local shop has nothing locked down and lets you try anything. That's true. Worst case scenario, and I don't know about you, dude. You go in a guitar shop, if they're the ones that are like, hey, let us get it down for you, fine. Treat me like a rock star. If you want to get and hand me gear and I just sit there and plug into an amp and get to play, count me in.
Oh, yeah.
Because the companies force you to bulk buy, you have to fit the guitars in so tight, you have to barely wedge them. I don't want that responsibility of taking and relicking 3 guitars just because I want to play one. So if you want to, I consider that the rock star treatment when you get sit there and handed stuff. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Suck that up all day.
Feeling better is if they offer you a cup of shitty coffee that they got brewed in the back, which they all do still to this day, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, brewed to a crisp.
Yeah,
thicker than mud.
You bought a brand new guitar; it was already infused with nicotine because everyone chain smoked in the store 24/7. It seemed.
It's just for your convenience.
Hell yeah! Oh, my dad, him and his buddies used to hang out at the music store every day. You know, and they'd all, and out of the 4 of them, one of them smoking at any given time. It's just hanging in the air, and who cares? Your guitar is relic before you even buy it. You just imagine how many people pulled off the old pickguard condom, and it's just like amber.
I've seen that a couple of times, actually. Like, whoa.
Ooh.
Okay. But I didn't buy that. I think the only... How about 2? I think I've only ever had 2 new guitars. One was the Kelly back in 99 or 1. One was Kelly XLs. Great guitar.
Yes, Fluke, you do. At certain shops, you could even put your smoke between the strings while you're playing. And they did not give a flying fuck. Especially if it was a used gear. Especially if it was used gear. And Doug Strong, yes, going to Cosmo and Vaughn, which now they consider a new market. How'd that happen? Anything, you can play through anything without feeling like you should be on the news. They may end up on the news when someone shoves an R9 in their pants. Well, that's true too. Yeah. But yeah, that platinum, there's always some kid with a PhD, Papa has dough, in there. Shredding away. Like, come on. I want to shoot a demo in here. Because it's only the platinum room's the only place you have a plugged-in amp. You can't even get into their little test rooms. They're all locked for some reason.
That was one of the stores I wanted to visit, actually, Cosmo Music.
Oh, fuck.
Never got the chance.
It is the tits. I will say that. It is a nice facility, especially by Canadian standards, because, you know, dude, we try. You know, it's like we have a token 1 of anything that they have 10 of in the US type thing. And it's just like, you know what? I was like, damn, because like I've been to Sweetwater. I've seen that facility, and I was like, God damn, this is Canada's Sweetwater. Like this is a good sized facility / campus, you know, and God love them. And like, if they stay in business with that, and they've been around for a long time, that store in one iteration or another. I don't know if it's still the original ownership or what the deal is there.
Weren't they out in Richmond Hill?
Originally, yeah. Originally, they were in Richmond Hill.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Because that's how I knew them, because I lived in Richmond Hill briefly before we moved down here. And I was just like 3 years old. You're old enough to remember the funky Cosmo Music Store sign hanging off the front of the building type thing on some major thoroughfare in Richmond Hill.
Yep.
And then
basically top of the hill, I think.
Yeah, now they're in like the middle of one of those nice gentrified industrial parks where it's, you know, like it's all still factories, but they got lawns as well, kind of manicured, and trees planted as well, and boulevards and vistas and sidewalks as well. I'm like, why is there sidewalks in an industrial park? I don't know. I don't understand it. Whatever. But it's just off Leslie Street. Leslie and Steeles? No, can't be. Might be. I don't know. All I know is I take the 401, get on the old 404, and head north. And it's only a couple exits, and then you're off, and you drive across a bit, and you're there in no time. It's not a bad drive. It's an amazing facility, especially by Canadian standards. You're like, holy crap. Like, you got a lot of gear. A lot of gear.
Yeah, I've snooped online a couple of times, but, you know, not the same as being in the store. And pretty much, like, as far as buying a guitar, I'd much rather, you know, touchy-feely something as opposed to, you know, spend a couple of grand on, oh, that looks pretty. You know, through a television monitor or computer monitor or whatever.
Exactly. Doug Strong. Like, yeah, take your, I guess, you know, like a flagship L&M store, you know, which are, some of those are pretty good size, especially the newer stores, because they took over a bunch of old car dealerships. But it's like that size, you know, like, and then double it kind of thing.
Hey, how you doing, Leo? Didn't see you there. Of course, I'm blind on one eye. I can't see you.
He knows why they have sidewalks, but he can't say. Great. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Hog Rotten says, I took my niece from Guam to buy a new guitar at Guitar Center back in the day. She was blown away. Fuck, I can only imagine. Like, I can't see there being any facility that would have any kind of a decent guitar selection beyond, I don't even know, a secondhand store. Like, I can't see even it might be a music store in Guam. Who's to say? I don't know what the civilian population is, because I think half of Guam is either military and the other half works for the military, essentially. Yeah. I don't know.
It's pretty much why the whole place exists.
Yeah. Michael Gross says, I went to the L&M in Quebec. It was well stocked, but damn stuff is expensive these days. That it is. That it is. My knees hurt. Dear question. All right. Highest note on a bass. Yeah. How far away from the lowest note on a guitar does a baritone bridge this gap? Well, a baritone is kind of tuned halfway in between, right? Like if you assume B to B, as opposed to, you know, because you got E to E and E to E, and it's B to B, so it's kind of halfway in between. I am not saying that, Doug. I am not. I am not saying that. You're probably right. Let me think. So the highest note, so you got it's a G. Well, the G, an octave higher, would be the same as an open G on a guitar. So there's that. So it's not that.
I wouldn't have a clue.
I don't know. Back to you're looking, trying to justify getting a baritone. Get a baritone. Everyone should have a baritone. It is true, Doug.
Or start off easy with the 7.
See, Travis is being all technical. So 220 in E, I assume, sure, because I know 440 is E and half. I don't know. Is octave 220? I don't know. That sure. Does that mean 2 octaves down is 0? I don't understand. I understand that you're putting it in there, but I don't understand. It's like trying to teach me cage. It's just I don't understand. I don't. Guam is a big tourist place for Japan. Really? Huh. I did not know that. Justification for a baritone. They're cool. Yep, that's all. That's all. That's the only reason you really need is they're cool. You know? It's like somebody say, hey, you know what'd be cool? What? Baritone. Can't fault you for saying that. I've always wanted one. I don't know if I have or not. I've always wanted, like, that is something I may buy sight unseen just because it's like the idiot guitar player that buys a bass sight unseen just because, oh, I want to have a bass. Do you know anything about him? No. All right. Whatever.
Got 4 strings.
Yeah, like those guys. Yeah, just buy that $75 bass guitar shaped object because it doesn't matter. You're not going to play above the 5th fret anyways, so don't worry about it.
I can do that. I've been looking around for an old sound gear. I almost bought one about a year ago. $500 or $600.
Okay,
Mr. 500, did you believe? Nice guitar.
I think this is a sound gear.
Yeah, looks like one, yeah.
Yep. This is like the 13 something or other. I don't know. It's one of the higher end ones. It's got the 4-band EQ. And, although I don't think it has active pickups. Bolt-on neck. But, yep. I've owned this for a couple of times now. Don't play it at all.
It'd be nice to mess around with one.
It's got flat wounds on this one.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think it needs an output jack. That's why I don't play it. That's right. It's a bullet style, and I hate those. Barrel style. Whatever.
Right on. Cool looking axe.
Oh.
What do we got? What's going on here?
Another reason I really dig this one. It's way lighter, and it's got a humbucker.
Ooh, bonus.
This is another Ibanez. Ibanez RD, road gear, I guess. So I got a sound gear and a road gear. Ooh, this one uses 5 screws in the neck. It uses all the screws, as Charles would say. All right. Belly carve, sure. Oh, yeah, and it's got the blend where the blend's backwards to the way I would have done it. But BC Rich says, yeah, that's cooler. I thought so. It's got a bit of a Music Man-y thing with the humbucker. That's why I dig it. I did a gig with it once. That was fun. Played well. Really growled. I dug it. This through an amp peg. Piece of cake. Right. And then when I found the blend, I thought it was blending in the single. I'm like, why am I getting louder? I'm like, oh, right. It's got the humbucker. The blend is the opposite way. I was like, wow. Because I had a pedal board for the bass, because why not? And I was already kicking the head with some clean boost. So it was edge of breakup. And then as soon as I dialed that in, it was breakup. And so we were doing an encore of something. Fuck if I know. Because we were that was a mellow band. Like, it was country and Tom Petty and Blue Rodeo shit and some hip. I don't know what we were playing, but Richie wasn't even on stage because he was the guitar player in the band that hired me for the night. He went to the bathroom. Somebody else was playing guitar, and he said he heard from the bathroom. He goes, "You sound like Geezer Butler up there." So it was just all blah blah. I'm like, cool. He's like, it was so huge sounding. But thanks. Right. Mayhem really likes the space.
I mean, I'd take that compliment all night. Hey.
Yeah. But yeah, it was fun. Don't for the life of me remember what the pedal board was. I don't even know how many of the pedals I still own that were on that board a couple years ago.
Memories.
Kind of foggy. That was one of those. That was the text at 4 p.m. Hey, do you want to play tonight? Okay. What am I playing? Sure. You're playing bass. Cool. The pay's this. For a set? Yeah. For the band. No, that's your cut. Holy shit. Okay. They might want us to play too. Gladly. Because it was that kind of money. I was like, no, that's for the band, right? Because there was 2 bands playing, and they're like, no, we're the headliner. And I was like, oh, fuck, okay. Sweet. Playing in the upstairs of a hockey arena, in their lounge area type thing. All right.
Yeah,
technically, I played the Colburn Arena. I don't know. Because technically, I played at the Colburn Arena.
Apparently you were there.
Do I have to play on the ice surface to qualify as playing the arena? I don't know.
Yeah, like a lot of the gigs I played back in the Barrie area, like you were doing really good to get $100 a guy. I mean, really good to get $100.
That's the thing now. That's the sad part. It's the same money now. It's $100 a guy for a night of playing cover.
Wow. That blows.
Yeah, you do it. You really do it just for the fun of it more than anything else. Mm-hmm. I'd say.
That's
at least it was for me the last few years.
Yeah, if you're going into it to, make better, become rich, boy, you better have a day job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I remember basically, like, our band would charge basically $100 a set. So depending on, if you were a place that wanted 4 sets, 5 sets, 3 sets, whatever. And the bass player didn't like the 3-set places because obviously less money because he's getting, his cut per out of that, especially once we went to a 5-piece. So I'm like, I remember we were playing one play. I'm like, dude, yeah, but it's like we go on at 8 and we're done by 10:45 type thing. He's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. He goes, all right, I'll do that for $60 instead of, loading out at 2:30 in the morning for $100. It's like, exactly. I'm dude. I'm like, you're going to be home by 11:30. Like, okay. Yeah, but the exposure, Dave says. But the exposure. Yeah, no shit.
It all depends. But yeah, if you're out playing bars to make money, good luck. Ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, see, that's where the problem is, because all that's left is those, like, say, downtown bars that hold 100, 200 people.
Mm-hmm.
I get it, because, like, profit margins and everything have become so tight in a lot of businesses that they can only afford still 500. Because it's 500 for a band or 500 for a DJ, essentially. Mm-hmm. That's a sad state of affairs, and they just want to be cooler by having live music. Fuck, okay. Well, I'm glad to help you out in that respect, but what we need is those 300 to 600 seat places so they can pay a band $1,000 a night instead of 500, because it would be relative in that respect. Then you don't mind, because we'll play here for 300 for the night for those 3 sets, because next week we're playing 5 sets at this place, but they hold 1,200 people and they're paying us 1,500. And that's your sweet gig for that month or 2.
Yeah, that'd be a very cool sized venue. You get enough people in there, enough exposure. I mean, like, even God or Hell, they recorded an album at the Rocks. 500-600 people, I think.
Yeah.
And cool sounding place. I mean, really cool sounding place. I was kind of surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Like I haven't listened to the album for a long time, but you can hear the room. I mean, plain as day. You can tell how far everything away is. It's kind of cool.
Mayhem, which one of us are you asking? He says, did you ever excuse me, did you ever play the Empire Theater in Belleville?
Yours truly? No.
I would think not, because when you were gigging, that was strictly a movie theater at that time. It's now been somewhat, it's converted back. They still play movies there once in a while, but they actually took the time to take it back to a 600-700 seat venue. So it's like sweet, because you get April Wine playing there once a year, obviously pre-COVID, or bands like, I saw the Stampeders play there. I saw the Tea Party play there. Great sound system, great venue, because it's your mini. Well, it's a theater designed originally for live, so it actually has acoustics. So like a Massey Hall or any of these great old theaters, man, you don't have to crank them up that loud. It's awesome. So your ears aren't blasted out. They have their own in-house sound guy at the venue, as well as, obviously if the band has their own sound guy, they work together, what have you. But yeah, super high-end sound system in there. And apparently our local rock fest is returning this year. Hell or High Water, which I don't know who's going to be playing, but I can't remember if they said it's going to be a full 3-day or it might just be a 2-day, which it's in the parking lot next to the Empire Theater. So they can have, 1,000 people? I don't know. But we've had Alice Cooper headline once or twice. Slash has headlined, I don't know. Seems like 4 times. I don't know. Seems like Slash is always playing here. I think Sammy Hagar's played it, and various bands over the years. Which is great. So I'm hoping that happens, because I usually have scoring free tickets half the time. So
right. Has Frank Marino ever played there? I would love. I know it's not going to happen.
I don't know.
I would have killed to see Frank Marino.
I don't know if he has played there. It's interesting cross section, like, of players that do play there. Although it is pretty much, if you're Canadian and over the age of 50, you're probably going to get booked there. You know what I mean? At this point, because basically they just lean away from anything that would be potentially rowdy, because it's a sit-down crowd for the most part, which is sweet. Because I don't know about you, I don't feel like standing at a concert anymore. I don't like doing it. I got bad legs. I'd rather sit. If there's a place to sit, I find it. And if I can't find a place to sit, I find a place to lean. That's the next best thing.
I think one of the last concerts I stood through was Pink Floyd down at CNE Stadium.
Nice.
Right after the International Fireworks show. My pant legs we were basically just left and slightly behind the front of house sound guy.
Mm-hmm.
I swear my pant legs were moving. Supreme sound, crystal
no
clear, and beautiful.
That was a cool venue because that was one of the few large outdoor kind of. Who cares if the sound sucked going out over the lake? Just fucking crank it up.
Well, better than have it come around 5 or 6 times, back and back.
That's
right?
true.
Let her go.
Yeah. Yeah, I only got one concert there.
Corner to corner.
And that was the cool thing about the CNE, or the Canadian National Exhibition, for those who don't know, our big, huge national county fair each fall. There was like a wicked concert every night during the CNE.
Yeah.
And something for everybody. Like, because it would be literally Alice Cooper one night, the Beach Boys the next night, Iron Maiden the next night, Oak Ridge Boys the night after that. Like, okay, sure. And generally Neil Young played opening night for a decade or two, or I don't know how long that was. That's when I saw Neil Young. It was opening day CNE. That was a crazy day. My God. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, they had some excellent shows down there. Yeah, excellent.
Yep. Well, we've gone a couple of hours, my friend. Holy crap.
Bitchin'.
Awesome. That's like a full set plus an encore. How about that, folks?
The screen didn't crack. Camera's not broken yet.
Nothing caught on fire. Amazing. Yes.
I just kind of wish I'd had a little bit better setup happening.
All good, my friend. Well, I'm definitely glad that you came on and did this. This was definitely a cool hang. It's like, I'm thinking, like, literally, we've talked in the chat for, I don't know, long time, we'll say, in various chats across the whole Googleverse of the guitar community. Hey, and I always got a kick out of you. You seemed like a cool chap, and then you came on a few weeks ago, and that was fun. You should get Neil Young on the channel. He's Canadian, isn't he? That's such an American thing to say, but I love it. Yeah, you can get on this icon, right? He's Canadian. But he's lived in the U.S. since the early 70s. Hasn't lived in Canada.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
You'll find him in Northern California. On his ranch.
Kind of a connect just by technicality, basically.
Exactly. I assume he still has a citizenship or a dual citizenship, what have you. But he definitely hasn't forgotten his Canadian roots. That's for sure. Because he's always toured Canada extensively and stuff like that. And he's always kept that bit of Canadiana in his music. And hey, Mark. So yeah.
Squealing Neil Young.
Loving it. Yeah. When I saw him live, he had Booker T and the MGs as his backing band.
Right on. Oh, that would have been a good show.
That was a fucking trip. Yeah. Yeah, because he just came off a European tour with Crazy Horse, so he gave them a rest, hooked up with Booker T and the MGs to do a Canadian tour at the end of summer. I was like, okay. Fuck yeah. And then it was like Blues Traveler, Pearl Jam, and Soundgarden all opened.
Wow. A few all right bands in there.
Oh yeah. Well, it was Pearl Jam basically doing the first album with some of the second. Soundgarden was literally, they were just wrapping up the Bad Motorfinger tour that year. So, and as far as I was concerned, that's my hands down favorite album. And then the next album I did not like. So, and then Blues Traveler, never heard of them. Had no, they had not broken in Canada at all at that, because we're talking 93, and Runaround didn't come out till the next year. Because it was their harp player, singer. He was in a wheelchair at the time. I've told the story before, but hey, we'll say it once more before we wrap things up. He was in a wheelchair during the concert because apparently he had a motorcycle accident. And I was like, who the fuck is this wicked harp player in a wheelchair? You know, that I don't judge. I'm like, fuck, all right, cool. You know, whatever.
The guy shreds like an Alpine.
Exactly. You know, wicked blues player. And, you know, the blues is always, like, if somebody's going to have, it seems, a disability of some kind, they end up in the blues kind of genre, traditionally, you know, at least at that time. And that was great. And then, they break a year later or so with Runaround. And he's all standing around playing his harmonica. I'm like, this band fucking sucks. They got rid of the dude in the wheelchair. I'm not supporting these guys. Now, granted, the new guy that replaced him is just as good on harp. That was my thinking. And then it took me literally a few months, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wait. Because I read an article, and he's like, yeah, I had this wicked motorcycle accident. I was in a wheelchair for blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, I feel like a moron.
Yeah, he's got some wicked chops. Like, how in the hell do you play a harmonica that fast? I mean,
he shreds.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. It amazes me. Wish I could do it. So on that note,
got 2 little jet tubes sticking out the side of his mouth or something.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know, when it breathes out, when it sucks in.
Right.
But he's wicked on harp.
He is. He's amazing. So I want to thank everybody. Obviously, hang on the line here. Thanks everybody that's still watching or has tuned in and is catching the rest on replay. Sure, we'll go with that. But thanks everybody that tuned in tonight. Special shout out to anybody that contributed tonight. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Shekels, keep the lights on. Shout out to my mod squad for helping out earlier. Or at all. I'm sure you did. Thank you. Because nobody's complaining, hey, we need a mod in the chat. So I didn't see any of that. So I assume everything's fine. Excellent. Yes, please give us a like. Because Greg H said so. Just saying.
Woo-hoo.
He knows. Appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow night with Terry's 3Gs, assuming he's awake, with Canuck with Guitars. Live Q&A. Sure. We'll go with that. Anything else special happening on tomorrow's show? Don't know yet. We'll see what tomorrow brings. It's all we can do. Then Tuesday with NAS Canucks with Cousin Doug. Don't know if that's a daytime show or evening show. Totally forgot. I'll check with him later. I got 2 days to do it. Day and a half. What do I do on Wednesday? Do I have anything going on Wednesday? No. But we are working on a exclusive. I haven't mentioned it to the channel members. Only the patrons know, because I've been working behind the scenes on Patreon. We're going to do an exclusive hang once a month, even though it's been saying that on Patreon and the membership for a while. But we are going to. I figure Zoom. Oh, we're doing a day show, Doug says. Okay. Daytime Tuesday. For the half dozen of you that tune in. Perfect.
There you go. Question answered.
Yeah. What are we doing? No, a Zoom call. Because that way everybody can kind of join. Because it has StreamYard. We can only have 10 of us. But a Zoom call, we can all jump in. And whatever. I don't know. We'll hang. And I'm thinking on a Wednesday, because Wednesday seems the one night I'm not already live streaming. So fuck it. Let's do a Wednesday once a month. We're not doing 8 a.m., Doug. Jeez Louise Christ. I'm not up before 9.
Hello.
And I press go live. So that's not happening. So, yeah. And then Thursday night, Donnie Ward and Chris Locke on Guitar Town Hall with David Nesdall and me. And then I'll be hanging out in the Know Your Gear chat on Friday, because that's what I do. Saturday, coffee time with RJ, and then Steve from Boston later in the evening, and then Pete Thorne Sunday. And hey, back here with Aaron from Elvis Band Sunday night. See, the week just flew by. It's amazing how that works. So, on behalf of Hipmetalworx and myself, I want to say always hold those doors open. Let Doug's wife in ahead of you in traffic, because she's real. Yep.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. And of course, don't litter.